On to week 10 in college football. Last week we had our worst week of the year by far, 2-6. That drops our average to 53%, 40-35 on the year. So we are still above 500, and we are going to look to have a big bounce back week. Let's go through the week 10 picks. All right, we got the world's largest cocktail party, Florida and Georgia. Give me Florida plus the points here. Carson Beck has been a little shaky recently, and Lagway has some pretty explosive capabilities. I certainly don't expect Florida to pull off an upset here, but I do think that they can keep it within 2 touchdowns. Now, Georgia's been a heavy favorite in this game for the past 5 years, and they've covered all of these spreads. So that trend could very well continue. We've seen what the best of Georgia looks like. But I do think that Florida is a pretty solid team, and I think they get a little slept on because of their schedule. So give me Florida plus 14.5 here. Okay, moving on to Fayetteville. We're going to take the Hogs. Woo, pig suey. Plus 7.5 here. Ole Miss's offense hasn't really been what people had been expecting to be, or they haven't been that explosive. They've been struggling to get the run game going. Jackson Dart has been making some questionable decisions throwing the ball. Their defense, on the other hand, is very, very good. So we'll have to see what Taylor Green can do against that. He'll obviously, his biggest threat is the run. Ole Miss is very good up front. I just don't really expect a lot of points to be scored in this game, so I think Arkansas can keep it at under 7.5. All right, biggest ACC matchup of the weekend here. Undefeated Pitt goes into Dallas and takes on Rhett Lashley and the SMU Mustangs. SMU is undefeated in ACC play. They have 1 loss on the year to BYU. They've been looking good, though. I think you got to throw out the game from last week versus Duke. They had 6 turnovers. I mean, that is insane. They still ended up winning the game, but I do like what this offense has been doing. Kevin Jennings, since being the new quarterback, taking over from Preston Stone, they've looked like a rejuvenated and refurbished offense. So give me SMU minus 7 here. This is going to be a huge game for SMU. Big conference game. It could be a statement win for them to stay alive in the ACC Conference Championship match. Speaking of ACC Conference Championship races, we got Louisville and Clemson. So Clemson is a 10-point favorite to Louisville. Clemson has just been dog-walking teams ever since they played Georgia. And Louisville has been in really, really tight games, no matter who they're playing. They've been on the winning side of some of those games. They've been on the losing side of some of those games. Now, this is probably outside of Georgia, the best offense that Clemson has faced. I do expect Charles Shuck to throw it around a little bit. But I think Clemson's defense, coming off a bye week, and has gotten to be able to get a little bit healthy. So give me Clemson minus 10 at home, night game, Death Valley. All right, now here we go with the biggest game of the weekend. Big Ten conference title implications. Ohio State at Penn State. The story narratives between James Franklin and Ryan Day, and matchups against ranked teams, and them both having losing. This is a massive game for both of these teams. Obviously, Ohio State already has a loss on their schedule, and a conference loss. So this is a really important game for them to win. And obviously Penn State as well. This would be a big hurdle for James Franklin to get over. Now, I do think that this is Penn State's best chance to beat Ohio State in the past 10 years or so. Obviously, I think they did it in 2017 or 2016 or something around there. But of recent, I think this is Penn State's best chance. Drew Aller looks like he's going to play. I just think that Ohio State can get this one here. They have really, really big problems on the offensive line, particularly around their left tackle, and they haven't been able to get the run game going like they really wanted to. But Penn State knows that. The world knows that. So they can they can use that and just say, okay, you know what? We're gonna roll to the right. We're gonna get some short yardage pass game. We have some explosive plays in our back pocket that we can lean on Jeremiah Smith and this receiving core for. So I do think that they're able to pull it out. In Ohio State minus 3. Okay, we got Buffalo and Akron here. I just don't really, this line is way too close. So give me Buffalo minus 1. They've been able to show that they can compete in the MAC. They beat Toledo by 2+ touchdowns. And Akron really hasn't been that great all year. They've been in some close games, but again, nothing that too impressive here. So give me Buffalo going on the road and really just pulling out a win. Buffalo minus 1. And okay, now we got our last game that we're picking. Virginia Tech on the road at Syracuse. Virginia Tech, I think, is in ascension mode right now, and they've been looking very good as of recent. Their last game was pretty sloppy. They had opportunities to really close that game out and weren't able to do it. But I think Tootin can kind of run all over the Syracuse defense, and Kyron Jones does have that big play capabilities, and we just can't really trust Kyle McCord. So give me Virginia Tech -4 here. Follow Big Body Ball CFB on all socials.